My favorite Pokemon, probably either Bonsly or Probopass, because that's ridiculous. Why would you make a Pokemon look like that? As much of a special place that this game franchise has in my heart, I do have to say something. All of these games are shockingly low quality. But I regret to inform you all that with the release of a new Pokemon game, a tale as old as time repeats itself. The age-old battle between Pokemon glazers and Pokemon haters, going head-to-head to have a pointless argument on the internet. But I am here to say that sometimes these arguments are not pointless, and being a Pokemon hater and a Pokemon joyer is actually the enlightened position here, as being the right kind of Pokemon hater is the position of progress and reconciliation, and it can also explain why these games are so controversial. However, the tide seems to be turning with this one. I see much less people defending this game. I'm a little confused because I've just kind of associated this developer and company with releasing mediocre titles. Oh my god, you guys, the new Pokemon game isn't good? What? Damn, buddy. I remember my first rodeo. The reception to this release is not surprising to me in the slightest because all new Pokemon games are destined to suck. Oh hey, I just said the title. Making the games not suck has not been a priority for the Pokemon company for a very long time, and that's why these games specifically are so behind the quality of other games. As is the story of life, the root of all inefficiencies, mediocrity, conflict, and struggle come from either a boardroom of executives or a political conference room working with said boardroom executives to collectively achieve goals. Now, if you're wondering what I mean by these games are low quality, I'll explain exactly my line of thinking. First of all, people in charge of making new Pokemon are all creatively bankrupt and are just scratching the bottom of the barrel, at least in my opinion. Sure, there are a few standouts, and sure, not being competent in this arena gives us blessed monstrosities, such as Probopass and the Vanilla Ice Cream Monster. But for the most part, these new Pokemon just evaporate from your consciousness like 2 weeks after you put the game down. There are artists and Pokemon enthusiasts out there who make their own Pokemon inspired by like Breaking Bad or something, and they all look leagues better than what Game Freak drops. Plus, I think that people are getting very fatigued by the humanoid evolution. You have more options than just humans. And it makes no sense, because Pokemon being literally the highest grossing media franchise of all time, nearly doubling Disney numbers? Think about that. Think about that for a second. They nearly doubled that of Mickey Mouse and Friends. You would expect them to care at least a little bit about quality control, but they don't. Also, they appear to be terrified of competition as they patented the concept of summoning a sub-character to fight/follow a playable character around. Like, damn, if you're gonna sue the shit out of Palworld for making a mediocre game, at least come forward with a good game. This kind of thing is the death of creativity in my eyes, because great concepts move forward through collaboration and creative deviation, and whether or not Pokemon acts on this patent to punish competitors for doing something egregious, such as attempting to make their own monster collecting RPG, the power dynamic of who holds this patent serves the monopoly that seems to be in effect. It's just kind of gross. And you want to know why things suck? You want to know why Pokemon obliterates fan games? You want to know why Pokemon games are low quality and hardly ever change? It's because the Pokemon company is too afraid to change anything. I don't think they're in the position to do that. They're a victim of their own success, right? We need to understand that Pokemon may be known for their video games, but they are not in the video game business. They are in the merchandise business. They are in the card game business. They are in the plushie business. They are in the TV show and movie business. They are in the mobile game business. The games may be the cornerstone of all this, but it's not their priority, and that's not an opinion. We could just see that in action. The Pokemon company does not give Game Freak the budget to make good games because the numbers say that they don't have to do that. Just imagine if you are a Pokemon executive. Like, why would you change anything if Pokemon sells like this? when you can lowball budgets leading to rushed and unfinished products that still sell a freaky amount of copies. And when you aren't in a position of realistic competition between any other IP, that's why I haven't picked up one of these games since I got tricked by Pokemon Sword and Shield. Pokemon Sword and Shield came out around the same time Persona 5 Royal came out. They are both RPGs that have that same rock, paper, scissors mechanic where you just collect monsters and fight them, and one is a billion times more fun and rewarding than the other. I get that these are apples and oranges, but you can't deny that the quality of one just trounces the quality of the other. You don't know if you're gonna get a playable game when you pick up Pokemon. You know you're gonna get a banger when you pick up a Persona. Now, this was my very first Persona game, and by the time I made my way through all of the other past Persona games, I thought to myself, man, Pokemon needs more hate. It's kind of wild that people are out here defending Pokemon this hard when way better JRPGs exist. Way better monster collector games exist too. But they have a lot of X factor. I attribute their success to how marketable these little fuckers are, as well as the nostalgia that I am not devoid of. Also, Pokemon Go was a huge windfall that revitalized Pokemon to a degree that I don't think a lot of people are willing to admit. Like, I think Pokemon would be doing just fine without it, but like still, I feel like when a new Pokemon game comes out, people talk about it for like 3 weeks. When Pokemon Go came out, people were talking about it for like a year straight. So let's talk about Pokemon ZA. Now, I played a little bit of Legends Arceus. I don't know. I enjoyed it, and I was going to wait to see how people thought of Legends ZA before I picked up a copy. But I only borrowed it, and I didn't buy it specifically because even this game felt a little too rough around the edges. It just didn't sit right in my stomach to give Pokemon money for making yet another unfinished game, because I really did appreciate what they did with Legends Arceus. And I was also hoping that this specific spin-off series, Pokemon Legends, was going to be Game Freak's experimental title where mainline Pokemon games would be the safe money-making titles. Now, credit where credit is due, I can see that they have a new battle system. But come on, that's not enough. They had a lot of making up to do after how poor of a launch Scarlet and Violet had. They made a game that runs properly, but the trade-off is they made a game that is severely lacking in satisfying content. The summation of what I understand about this game is that the concept has legs, but it under-delivered in technical performance, visuals, variety, gameplay, and charm. So, like, in other words, people don't think that it's a good game. Everyone who I know who picked up a copy of this game are repulsed by it, and they think that it is shallow and unsurprisingly bad. But to be fair, I've seen a few people say nothing but good things about this game, but I also see that this is one of those situations where legacy reviewing publications and channels are saying that this is one of the best games that they've ever played in their lives, which of course doesn't line up with public perception of the game. But none of that matters because I haven't played Pokemon Legends ZA, and you should not treat this video as a review. This is more of a story of Pokemon as a whole, if you will. A tale of disillusionment of a once whimsical and beloved media series that got sucked dry like a vampire's victim. I knew that I wasn't going to like this game, so I didn't buy it. I am free from the nostalgic shackles of the Pokemon company, and I am better for it. I'm wise to the fact that these games are low quality. If I wanted to experience wasting my money to make wealthy people happy, I could always just go get drunk and gamble my money at the nearest casino and probably have more fun and a more memorable time. But I certainly don't look down on anyone who still plays Pokemon games today. I do look down on people who do not put their money where their mouth is. But it's just wild that people are going crazy over a woman samurai in a game that was like apparently good, like a good game that a lot of people are playing, that a lot of people are finding hard to critique in actual meaningful ways. I thought that the problem with woke video games was that they aren't fun. This game doesn't seem to be all that woke. If you call this woke, okay. But the people are saying that this new game is suffering from the exact problems that reactionaries are so steamed up about. They're saying that it doesn't have heart. It's dictated by profit. It ignores the fans' voices. It's not innovative in the slightest, and it's overall low quality in order to turn out a bigger profit. But of course, when a game without wokeness is bad, it couldn't possibly be bad for the same reasons that a game that features black and non-binary people is bad. We're so close. We're this far away from a teachable lesson of the misdiagnosis of the enshittification that is plaguing media. Inches away from a sprinkle of class consciousness being achieved in the world of video game fandom. I think that there's always utility in some good old-fashioned hating on gigantic corporations. Look at what happened to The Sims and EA. EA is an evil and greedy company. They have always been known for being the company that wants to suck as much profit out of your pocket as humanly possible. The Sims 4 is over a decade old. I don't want to piss off any Sims fans. I get that it's a wonderful game and you guys love it, whatever. But I think that the model of drip feed new content in a drawn out act of siphoning as much money as possible from dedicated players is an incredibly predatory practice. But it's okay because the Sim fans put up with it. But guess what? Somehow EA got out late stage capitalismed, bought out for $50 billion by private equity, Jared Kushner, and PIF. The Sims will probably get gutted, and the people who paid hundreds of dollars in expansion packs don't own any of that. They simply have access to it because physical media is pretty much dead at this point. This is not a culture war issue. The world is shitty because of absurd wealth inequality and decaying systems of exploitation, and the effects of these concepts reach every corner of society. Don't let the Nintendo glazing nerds make you feel bad for hating the mediocre product of a corrupt system and those who suspend it. Be an enlightened hater like myself. I'm a hater because I love Pokemon, and I eventually want to see a high-quality Pokemon game. Anyways, I got a Patreon, goodies and end of video shoutouts for members. Have a wonderful day and show me my patrons.